The Toronto Blue Jays have made a sneaky good signing, has had a wild time of the year. The Jays have made a signing official that is very intriguing and can have big implications going forward for this team. We're going to break down exactly who this is, as he is a young phenom. But we also have to go over multiple updates ahead of tonight's game, following what has been an awful stretch of play the past couple weeks for this team. We have some wild comments from John Schneider. We have updates surrounding today's pitching plans. We have comments from Max Scherzer. We have comments from everybody. And injury updates, everything to go over today. But before we get into it all, if you're a part of the percentage who aren't subscribed to the channel, this is the place to be for daily Jays content. Your guys' support has truly been unbelievable, so thank you guys for that. Ladies and gentlemen, I know it's a bit wild to see the title saying that they've made a signing. They've officially made a signing, and it is surrounding a very interesting player. Now, I covered him briefly there, I think a month or so ago, but the signing's been made official, so we're going to cover it in depth now. We have the full details. So it is Toronto Blue Jays signing. Now, bear with me on the pronunciation. I searched it up, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but it's Sojun. If I'm mispronouncing that, let me know down below. I'm going to call him Moon for the rest of the video, but Sojun for $1.5 million. The kid is taller than Trey is Savage. 196 centimeters, about 6'5". Savage is 6'4". So, folks, Moon Sojun is officially a Toronto Blue Jay. And feel free to go check out my other video, but there's going to be a lot more details within this one. This is super exciting. He is an 18-year-old who has the potential to be a stud. And especially, and just to keep in mind here, especially with the way that this season has went in the past, in general, a fantastic year. The past couple weeks, really bad. I'm going to take a bit of a positive approach, and I'm going to dive into what was a horrible game yesterday and all that in a minute. But to quickly go over this pitcher, very intriguing. I did some digging. There's not much footage of him at all, but he's 6'5". He's over 200 pounds and has a fastball that hovers between 93 and 94 at 18 years old. It's a cool gamble. So just gonna, again, there's not a lot of footage out there. There's not a lot of, I did as much research as I possibly could. He throws a pretty good fastball. He's tall. As he develops into his frame, into his body, into his physique, he could really pump out 97, 98 miles an hour. And obviously the goal is to always touch, triple figures these days, or triple digits rather. But it is official, $1.5 million contract. He was actually at Rogers Center today. He has a two-seamer, a slider, a curveball, a changeup, and a four-seamer. So a nice, 4 or 5 pitch mix there, which is pretty impressive. And you can see there, Andrew Tinich, the Vice President of International Scouting and Baseball Operation for the Blue Jays, said that he is a prospect with physical attributes and a variety of breaking pitches suitable to develop into a major league starting pitcher, adding the club will provide the optimal environment for growth and expects him to become a pitcher recognized by fans in Korea and around the world through steady effort. So pretty exciting. This is used, the $1.5 million is the money that was acquired in the Miles Straw trade, which of course was made to acquire Roki Sasaki. It didn't work. So maybe we'll have a Roki Sasaki at home here in Moon. So, folks, let us know down below, or let me know, rather, down below what your thoughts are on the signing. I mean, again, it's a pretty exciting one. This is something that won't have an impact right now, but could well into the future. And I want to take a step back and cover this because, folks, this has been a disastrous week, right? Just a disastrous week. And let's dive right into it. Let's start with the fact that the starter has been named for tomorrow's game, which is actually, today's game. And it is Keegan Madison coming out and saying that Louis Verland is starting today for the Blue Jays as an opener. Now, I want to get your guys' thoughts on this because we saw José Berríos in yesterday's game. I mean, this team's offense has been absolutely brutal. And you can say what you want about the umpires. I had a full video on it yesterday. The umpires are not the reason this team is losing games. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and Dave Popkins, they both got ejected for good reason or not. Who cares? Who knows? The umpires are not the reason the Jays are losing games right now. It is the offense. The offense has been abysmal. It's been one of the worst, actually the worst. You can see this here. The Toronto Blue Jays hitters have a 463 OPS over the last 7 games. It's their lowest OPS in any 7-game span in 30 years. Some of the worst in history, folks, for the Jays. And they have now fallen to, a very bad spot with this, I guess, the standings, the AL East race, because the Yankees won yesterday. As expected, they're going up against the White Sox, and they're on fire. The Jays are only 1 game up on the Yankees as it stands right now. And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, this division is very, very, very close. And it's technically only 1 game because of the tiebreaker. Technically, they're tied, but the tiebreaker gives them that 1 game. It's going to be a bloodbath to finish the season. And, I mean, they got to figure it out. Max Scherzer coming out and saying baseball can flip things in a heartbeat. Things can change overnight for no apparent reason. And so when you look at yourself in the mirror, you have to just know who you are. And this is, of course, following a poor start by Max Scherzer. But again, he got through, 5 innings, 4 runs. like, the offense has been brutal. Since Bichette went out, nothing has went the Jays' way. Vladdy's turned into, one of the worst hitters in baseball randomly. A bit of an overreaction, but he's been really bad. Addison Barger's been struggling. Dalton Varsho's been struggling. Everybody's been struggling. And it's all since and all because of that slide that Bichette had on that rainy day in New York, rainy afternoon against Austin Wells. And if that's the reason the Jays don't make the ALDS, I'll be sickened. But they have to figure their crap out, to put it, in better words. In his last 13 games, Vladdy has a 541 OPS, which is the lowest of any 13-game stretch for him this season. And I said one of the worst hitters in baseball. Not really true, but really bad, right? Really bad. And it is sad. It is really sad. Everyone's scuffling right now. It feels like the world is falling down. And even John Schneider is saying, we're not losing because of the umpires. We're losing because we're not scoring enough runs. I don't want to feed into the narrative that the umpires are screwing us, because they're not. We're not scoring enough runs. And I'm very happy John Schneider said this, because, folks, I had a video on it yesterday. The umpires have been horrible at their job lately. Yes, they have screwed the Jays in multiple games, and you could argue they screwed them out of a win a couple days ago, but not really. The offense has been abysmal, and that is the problem that this team has, and they're facing an extremely, extremely big problem right now in the fact that they cannot score runs. They are in desperation mode, and ladies and gentlemen, it's just a really, really bad time. Like, quite frankly, it is a really bad time right now to watch these Jays games. The offense is putrid. The pitching is okay. You have Louis Varland starting in the most important game of the year. José Berríos out of the bullpen got shelled, someone who's was the most consistent starter in the MLB for the past handful of seasons. Never missed the start. Moved to the bullpen. He's pissed about it. He ends up, getting shelled in the bullpen debut. It is all bad right now. However, that being said, you cannot panic, and John Schneider knows that. He came out and basically said, it feels like the world is caving in. It feels all these different things. Folks, the Jays are a game up in the AL East. Technically, it's tied, but they're really a game up. They need to win today's game and then go, they control their own destiny. As crazy as everything sounds right now, the Yankees have their last game today against the White Sox. And then, of course, you move on to their final series against the Orioles, where the Orioles are pitching Taylor Rogers, I think it's the right one, Dean Kramer, good pitchers. It's not over. However, if this team only fails and goes down to the wild card, it will be one of the biggest collapses in Jays history in the regular season. But they're still, technically a playoff team. I do not want to go back to a wild card spot. I will lose my mind. But at the end of the day, the Jays have a huge problem on their hands. It is the offense. And if they don't figure their crap out soon, this team is going to end up being a wild card team, which you told me that at the start of the year. Sure. If you told me at the start of the year that this would be the situation they're in, you take that every day of the year, 100 times out of 100. But the reality is they have had a monumental, historic collapse over the past week or two. Things have gone horribly, and this team needs to figure it out. They need to figure it out fast, or else they're going to be in big, big trouble. But that'll wrap it up. Let us know down below. Let me know, rather, down below what your thoughts are. I mean, at this point, folks, must-win game every game. You guys have been beasts of the sport. Thanks for watching.